Okay, again, we welcome you all to our fourth night meeting of the year. We scheduled 4 evening meetings at the beginning of our calendar year last year. This is the fourth of those meetings. The agenda for tonight's meeting was posted on our web pages yesterday. Jane, I don't know if we made any amendments to that original posting or not.
I think we've made a couple changes. We took something off from the first part. That would have been the second agreement that goes with the intergovernmental transfer.
Okay.
We're postponing that one till later.
Okay.
And there's no time sensitivity in that. And in the boards and authorities, I added a name I added number 6 and maybe number 7 after,
Okay. All right.
after it was posted.
Okay. Thank you for preparing the agenda. It's a pretty busy agenda, so let's get to it. We will take public comments on the agenda items at the beginning of our meeting. Public comments on the agenda items. If you wish to make public comments regarding our posted preliminary budget, we'll have that. We'll entertain hearing those comments at the end of our meeting after we conduct all the business on the stated agenda. So at this time, Commissioners, I hope you've had a chance to review the minutes that were from the previous meeting. And with copy, here we go. And I will entertain a motion to approve those minutes from the previous meeting. Commissioner Snyder. Second, Commissioner Compton. Are there any additions or corrections to be noted to the minutes? Okay, if not, those in favor of approving signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And one more thing, I do want to note that this meeting is being video recorded and audio recorded, excuse me, and video recorded. Probably the front half of the room is under video recording. Okay, under public comment period, we'll entertain any comments on the agenda items. Does anybody have any comments on the agenda items? Okay, with none, we'll proceed with the agenda then. And Commissioner Snyder is going to present the agenda items under the new business action items on page 1 and the top of page 2. So Commissioner, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Consideration of ordinance number 5 of 2019, parameters ordinance for refunding a portion of the series of 2015 general obligation bonds. So moved.
Okay, motion is made. A second to the motion.
Second.
Commissioner Compton seconds the motion. And we do have some guests here today who traveled for the purpose of presenting to you and to us the purpose and the scope of the ordinance number 5. So the gentleman, Joe Pierce from Eckerd Seaman, and if you want to use the microphone,
This is all right here.
That's fine, as long as we can hear and most people in the room can hear as well.
Please let me know if you can. My name is Joe Pierce. I'm with Eckerd Seaman from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. As you know, my colleague Jen Barron, from past meetings, she was intending to come. She took her 3-year-old or her 6-year-old to the doctor. He had an earache, so other duties called.
All right, tell her we said hello.
Thank you. This ordinance has been advertised in accordance with the Local Government Unit Debt Act, and so it's ready for the board's consideration at tonight's meeting. It is what we call a parameters ordinance. And I guess I should introduce the other guests, if I may.
Please, yeah.
Jay Wangers, the county's financial advisor, and Dave Payne from PNC Capital Markets will be is authorized by this resolution to be the purchaser of the bonds and in turn sell them in the marketplace. So the size of the outline that Commissioner read said about the 2015 bonds are being refunded, a portion of it. And the amount that will be refunded is $2.6 million. However, this ordinance authorizes an issue series of $3.5 million. And that's why we call it a parameters resolution. Under the county's obligated to issue its debt in accordance with the Pennsylvania Local Government Unit Debt Act, and that has certain standards that have to be met. this ordinance sets those standards. For example, the size cannot be more than $3.5 million, but in fact it's going to be closer to $2.6 million. What this does is it allows the financial team to, in the marketplace, once they go in the marketplace, and I'll touch on that in a minute, to work in the marketplace to get the right combination of principal amount in each of the maturities that will come, and also then the proper interest rate. It sets the maximum interest rate at 5%. It would probably be closer to 2.5%. But there again, it meets the requirements of the Local Government Unit Debt Act. And what that allows the county to do is, when we go through this process starting tonight, we will publish a second notice required by the Debt Act. We will take those documents along with other ones that I brought for tonight's signing, and we will file them with the Department of Community and Economic Development to get their approval. And what that then sets is that whenever the market's right to do a refinancing, the phrase is we can pull the trigger very quickly. It's the same as refinancing a mortgage. You have a mortgage at this rate, and you can go ahead and refinance the house mortgage at a lower rate, save money. That's what the county is looking to do in this case.
Okay.
So with that, Chairman, I'll answer any questions that the commissioners may have.
Now, the refinancing of this bond is related to, the original debt was related to the project that involved the prisons.
County prison, that's
So
right.
we want to be clear that while we're also seeking a lower interest rate if possible through this process, we're refinancing the debt because it's related to the fact that the previous bond was a tax-free bond. And so to be clear, we are engaging in the housing of federal detainees
Right.
from the Department of ICE, Department of Homeland Security,
U.S. Marshals Service.
and U.S. Marshal Service. The number of detainees from that source is going to be increasing in 2020, anticipated to be increasing, and has increased already. And therefore, we wish to switch our bond because of the IRS code, we must switch the bond from a tax-free bond to a taxable bond. Now, with that said, however, the interest rates may still be to our favor, and your decision to actually sell the bond will be dependent upon how those rates fluctuate in the coming days. Correct? That's what I'm saying.
Yes, sir.
So that's one of the reasons we need to do this at this time. Hopefully that in the end there'll be a net savings, but we don't know that until but we will not authorize, and by the way, this was reviewed with the new Board of Commissioners, and because the decision to sell the bond at some given point will occur after January 1st.
Yes, to pull the trigger and go and take the best deal in the marketplace will be the decision for the new Board of Commissioners.
Okay, just that clarification. Commissioners, do you have any comments or questions further? Okay. So when we're done here, are you going to wait around while we sign the documents?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. So the motion's on the floor. All those in favor of approving the ordinance number 5 of 2019 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries. And if you have anything else for us, we'll ask that you be patient until we get done with our meeting before we can sign the documents. Okay? All right, Commissioner, back to you.
Approval of the 2020 intergovernmental transfer agreement with the Pennsylvania Department of Human Services, Office of Long-Term Living, to provide for transfer of funds to the Department of Human Services in order to secure increased funding for Saskaview Inc.
The motion is made, second the motion. Second. Commissioners, thank you. The intergovernmental transfer agreement is something that we do annually in order to acquire restoration of funds to the Saskaview home, which comes from the Department of Human Services. And We need to enter into this agreement at this time. There will be no transactions at this time, just enter into the agreement to let them know that we intend to participate in 2020. Okay. All those in favor of approving the intergovernmental transfer agreement signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Consider adoption of resolution number 16 of 2019, adopting an updated fee schedule for Clayton County Planning Department services. So moved.
Motion is made, second the motion.
Second.
Okay. Katie DeSalvo, our planning director, is here. This was thoroughly vetted by the Board of Commissioners at our work session on Monday and talked about at Monday's work session and the schedule. I did not bring my copy with me. It's laying on my desk, but you have a copy. Katie, since we're doing this, do you wish to make any comments?
Sure, I would just, say that this was an agenda item on the Clinton County Planning Commission's agenda in November, and they have to make a formal motion to ask you to consider increasing these fees, and they seconded and unanimously approved that motion. They are empowered to make recommendations to you about your ordinances, but you're the ones who have to set the fees from time to time.
Okay.
And the last time these were set was before I worked here, but it's prior to 2012. And I don't know exactly when.
They would take effect when? Was that in the motion?
1st of January.
1st of January. Okay. Okay, the motion's before us. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries, and the new fee schedule is approved. Katie, thank you very much. All right, next item, Jeff.
Consider approval of a proposal for appraisal services from Real Estate Appraisal and Marketing Associates to appraise a portion of a parcel in Pine Creek Township owned by South Davis Realty, Inc. for the amount of $2,500. So moved.
A motion is made, second to that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Coughlin, thank you very much. This is also in your wheelhouse, Katie. This is the appraisal required for the development of the east end of the off-ramp of the railroad bridge, the Baltimore Valley Trail Railroad Bridge over the river. You want to comment any further, Katie?
Correct. The landowner on that side is going to have to give up a section of land about 40 feet wide and about 150 feet long. And he wants to be compensated for that value. We don't know what that value is until it's appraised. And in exchange, we'll receive a permanent recreation easement as well as a construction easement to do the work to convert the bridge.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, questions, gentlemen? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Unanimously, the motion carries. The next one, Commissioner.
Consider approval of a proposal from Zelenkovsky Axelrod LLC for professional auditing services for the years ending December 31st, 2019, 2020, 2021, and 2022 for a fixed annual fee as follows. For 2019, $52,500. For 2020, $53,550. For 2021, $54,620. For the year 2022, $55,715. So moved.
Okay, motion's made. Second to the motion.
Second.
Commissioner Coughlin seconds the motion. We would ask for proposals from various auditing firms. This is required by law that we have outside auditing firms audit the county's finances. And this is a savings from our current auditor, correct, Jan?
Quite a large savings.
But a large savings. We had, quite frankly, we had services with ZA, as we referred to them, Zelenkovsky Axelrod, years ago, and we went out on request proposals, switched to Baker Tilly, and then we decided to do competitive pricing for auditing services, and that process has brought the price down for us. So we're glad, and they do fine work. They do fine work. In fact, Baker Tilly has also done fine work. Yeah, you want to comment
I'm
on
just
it,
wondering,
Michelle?
are we going to be responsible for their mileage or no?
This is all inclusive.
All inclusive, okay.
Okay, thank you. And Michelle is one of our elected auditors for the county, so we appreciate their input into this process. Thank you. Good point.
And does this also, this, I assume, does not include the cost allocation that we also have with them, the cost allocation plan?
That's,
It does not,
It's
that
separate.
does not, that's a separate process, so.
And didn't we signed an agreement with a different firm to do the cost allocation plan for the next 4 years. They will not be doing it.
And
So
that's
they-
good.
they're
You're
becoming the
supposed to have
auditor.
them, you're supposed to have them
They're
separate.
separated,
Yes,
yeah.
okay, that's it, thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Okay, the motion's on the floor. Anything else, commissioners? Okay, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Unanimously, that motion carries. Next item, Commissioner.
consider approval of a proposal from Doing Better Business to provide 2 copiers for domestic relations and adult juvenile probation under separate 5-year leases at a cost of $111.62 per month for each copier, with maintenance and supplies billed monthly per copy made at a cost of .0067 for black and white and .037 for color. So moved.
Okay, motion is made. Second to the motion?
Second.
Commissioners, vote thank you. And I was involved in any of this research. Jan, any comments on this? This is
Yes.
what it is.
Well, they were using one copier because up until now, probation and domestic relations are on the same floor in the garden building. With the renovations of the garden building, probation will be on the 3rd floor and domestic relations will be on the 2nd floor. So these are 2 copiers replacing one that has expired in its lease. And the total net increase to have 2 instead of 1 is about $30 per month.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, the motion's on the floor. Any other questions, commissioners? If not, those in favor, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. None opposed. Next item, sir.
Consider approval of a 1-year renewal agreement with WellPath to provide medical services at the Clinton County Correctional Facility from January 1st, 2020 through December 31st, 2020, at an annual cost of $918,621.81. So moved.
Motion is made. Second to the motion.
Second.
Commissioner? Okay, any comments or questions, commissioners?
Just because of further negotiations by the staff at the facility, instead of a 3% increase that was proposed by WellPath, they were able to keep it a 2% increase.
Okay, thank you.
And plus, the overall cost is going down because of not having the Department of Corrections prisoner or detainees anymore.
Thank you. And also, so the public does know, the cost that are incurred by those who are housed at our facility from other places is reimbursed, is billed directly. Some is billed directly to those agencies, some is provided through our contractors. We bill them for reimbursement. So this is not all applied to only county people. It applies to our detainees from outside sources. Okay, motion's on the floor. If there's no more further comments or questions, all those in favor of approving the WellPath contract with for medical services signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries. Commissioner, next item.
Consider approval of a contract between the County of Clinton and the Christ Community Worship Center, Inc., doing business as LIFD, Child Care Learning Center, to provide child care services for children and youth services effective December 10th, 2019 to June 30th, 2020.
Motion is made, a second.
Second. Second.
And Paul seconds the motion. Commissioner?
This is a new
Yeah,
provider that,
services.
one of the children that's in Children and Youth Services Care attends that child care facility, so we'll have a contract with them.
Okay. Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Okay, all those in favor of approving the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, Commissioner Snyder. We're now turning to the boards and authorities items. It's that time of the year where the Board of Commissioners will try to replenish vacancies which are occurring by the end of December on various boards and authorities. So we need to address that. Commissioner Coughlin is going to present them, followed by a couple other agenda items on page 3. But go ahead, Commissioner, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you. The Board of Commissioners will consider the resignation of Paul Corder as Farmer Director on the Clinton County Conservation District Board effective December the 31st of 2019. So moved.
Motion's made and seconded.
Mary Ann, he's been a member how long?
He's been a voting member since 1993. He's 27 years in. He would have had 2 more years on his term, but due to some health issues, yeah, he's stepping down.
We certainly appreciate his years of service.
Yeah. We're gonna miss him.
Yeah. Okay, good. Gentlemen, thank you. Okay, we'll call the question. All those in favor of approving the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Unanimously, that motion carries. Excellent.
Okay, the Board of Commissioners will consider the appointment of Elam Stoltzfus Jr. to fill the unexpired term of Paul Corder as Farmer Director on the Clinton County Conservation District Board through December the 31st of 2021. So moved.
Second.
Motion is made and properly second. Any further comments, Marion, on the other?
Elam has been serving as an associate director, which means he doesn't have any voting powers for the last 5 years. So he's very familiar with, a lot of the programs that we do, and he's been, very active for being an associate. So I think he will be able to fill that position.
Thank you. Okay. Gentlemen, good. All those in favor of approving the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion unanimously carries. Next item.
Okay, the Board of Commissioners will consider the reappointment of Warren Gottschall to the Zoning Hearing Board for a 3-year term expiring December the 31st of 2022. So moved.
Thank you, sir. I would ask if you would consider the motion include the word Clinton County Zoning Hearing Board. Katie, is that appropriate?
Yes.
Is that understood, by the way?
No, Clinton County is appropriate.
Okay.
Yep.
Clinton County.
That motion to include that, yes.
All right. Thank you. A second.
Second.
Commissioner Snyder. Anyhow, comments or questions?
Warren's been on the zoning hearing board for a long time.
Okay.
Much longer than I've been involved with it.
Yeah.
And he had to think hard about whether he wanted to continue, because he said, it's time for me to stop doing this stuff. But then he said, yeah, but I want to.
Okay, thank you. Okay, all those in favor of approving Warren's appointment signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion unanimously carries. Next item.
Okay, the Board of Commissioners will consider the reappointment of Hope Mitchell to the Clinton County Housing Authority Board for a 5-year term expiring December the 31st of 2024. So moved.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Okay, does a good job. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Approved. Next item.
Okay, the Board of Commissioners will consider the reappointment of Charles Bechtel Jr. and James Harbaugh to the Agricultural Preservation Board for a 3-year term expiring December the 31st of 2022. So moved.
Motion's made by Commissioner Coughlin, second.
Second.
Commissioner Snyder. Questions, comments? Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Unanimously, that motion carries. Next item.
Okay, the Board of Commissioners will consider the appointment of Wade Veneta to the Agricultural Preservation Board for a 3-year term expiring December the 31st of 2022, replacing John Lucas, who did not seek reappointment. So moved.
Thank you. Motion's been made and seconded. Okay, if there are no comments, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, the motion carries. Number 7.
Okay, the Board of Commissioners will consider the reappointment of Reza Lofty, John Dotter, and Larry Sheets to 4-year terms on the Planning Commission, expiring December the 31st of 2023. So moved.
Motion is made and properly seconded.
I have one comment. Reza spells his name L-O-T-F-I.
Like that.
Yep.
Okay, thank you, Katie. With that correction, all those in favor of approving the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. We're now on page 3. Paul's going to present 2 items under 4D, transfers and then personnel.
Okay, we have, the Board of Commissioners will consider the transfer of 4D funds in the amount of $34,754 to the general fund for September of 2019 reimbursement of expenses. So moved.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, the motion carries. These are standard transfers. And Paul, the next one.
The Board of Commissioners will consider the transfer of 4D funds from the 4D checking account to the 4D restricted account in the amount of $23 for medical incentives for the quarter ending September of 2019. So moved.
Okay, motion's made, seconded to the motion. Commissioner Snyder, I do, Dan, you know what this one's for, though?
It said medical
It's
reimbursement.
just a matter, okay, it's for $23, that's it.
Very small one, yeah,
Yeah,
usually there's.
so usually larger sums, okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, all right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries, so that transfer is approved. And we have 5 personnel actions. Paul, thank you.
Okay, the Board of Commissioners will consider the resignation of Lisa Blazer, Agricultural Resource Conservationist at the Conservation District, effective December the 31st of 2019. So moved.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded by Commissioner Snyder, and I suppose with some regrets, we accept these motions from Mary Ann. Lisa has been, I don't know how many years she's been with us, but she's been an outstanding asset to the Conservation District, at least from, and I'll speak speaking for all of us, from our observations, she's been quite an asset.
She's been there since 2008, so she's been there 11 years.
Okay, 11 years, okay.
You know, she's made some good strides with the farming community, so.
Very good. Okay, the motion is before us. I'll call a question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion is unanimously approved. Next one, Paul.
The Board of Commissioners will consider the resignation of Jacob Weinrich, Resource Technician at the Clinton County Conservation District, effective December the 20th of 2019. So moved.
Second.
Motion's made and second. Okay, any further thing? Okay. All right, it is what it is. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion is approved. Number 3.
The Board of Commissioners will consider a request from Kelsey Kaltenbach, caseworker in Children and Youth Services, to rescind her resignation that had been accepted by the Commissioners on November the 14th of 2019. So moved.
Motion's made, seconded by Commissioner Snyder. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion is unanimously approved.
Okay, the Board of Commissioners will consider the hiring of Darby Hughes as caseworker at Children and Youth Services, effective